In this particular video, I ask 10 questions. After each question, you pause the video, make sure that you will give the answer, and after that, you check my answer along with your answer. So that is the way if you go through these particular 10 questions. So you feel like, okay, so you are attending some interview. So that is very important. Is global variable available to all functions? Yes. So yes, the answer is yes. Does there exist a mechanism by which one can make it available to some and not to others? No, it is not possible. It is not possible. What is the different types of linkages? Basically, there are three types of linkages: external, internal, and none, no linkage. External means global variables and functions. Functions are automatically global. So you need not to worry whether I need to write function definition above the main or below the main. So whether you write above the main or below the main, it doesn't make any much difference because functions are automatically global. But it's a usual practice that we write main first and all the declarations we give in the main, and at the end we give the function definition. And if you give other function definitions at the beginning and after that if you give main, there is no need to give function declaration also, but it's not a good programming practice. The good programming practice says that always starts with the main, and within the main declare all the functions, because a other programmer, if some other person is reading your program, he should come to know by looking into the prototype or function declaration. That person should come to know so what type of arguments that function is taking and what is the return type, all those things. That's why functions are automatically global. And global variables, once you declare a global variable and once you define a global variable, once you allocate memory for it, you can use it from any of the functions in that program, or you can access it from other programs also. So they are external. Internal linkage means static variable. Static variable means if you use the keyword static along with the global variable, then that particular global variable cannot be shared between other programs. It is dedicated only to that particular program. And even a function, you can make a function static so that that function cannot be used by other programs. And local variables, the life of local variables is within the block, opening and closing braces. So they are called no linkage. No linkage is required. Is it possible to use a switch statement to switch on strings? No, it should be always integer. So it's not possible to switch on the strings. In which header file null macro is defined? stdio.h and stdef.h, definition.h. Is it possible to process entire string as one unit? No, it is not possible. You have to process character by character. What is the similarity between a structure, union, and enumeration? Structure, union, and enumeration, all these allow the user to define his or her own data type, new data type. Can a structure contain a pointer to itself? Yes, it is possible. Those type of structures are called self-referential structure. You might have studied linked list. For example, I write one structure definition: struct node, struct node. So I just give here how the node looks like. See, in linked list, I take 3 nodes. This is at the location 2000. This is at the location 3000, and this is at the location 4000. The first node holds the address of the second node, so that is 3000. So it points to here. And the second node holds the address of the third node. So, and the last node is null actually. So it does not hold anything. So it's null. Because since it's the last node, it's a null. And here, this is called data. And this is called link field. This link field actually holds the address of a next node. So this each one, this is called as a node. So there are three nodes actually here. So here, this data field is, think of integer. I give int data. Link is a pointer variable because it holds the address. So star link, but it holds the address of what? One node. So here the struct node star link. So here link is a pointer variable, holds the address of a node. So the data type of node is again struct node. So this type of structure is called self-referential structure. Self-referential structure. What is the difference between a structure and a union? In structure, I take for example, struct book, int pages, float price, char title. Here, think of I struct book B1. For B1, memory will be allocated to hold pages, price, and title. So integer occupies, think of 4 bytes, and float occupies 4 bytes, and character, so it occupies 1 byte. So total 9 bytes of memory will be allocated to B1. In the case of union, so union book, int pages, float price, and char title, only memory will be allocated. For example, if you create an object union book B1, memory will be allocated only 4 bytes. That is to hold the price floating point. So in that you can store pages also, you can store title also, but not all the information at a time. Only one information at a time you can store in the case of union. So moral of the story, for structure, memory will be allocated for each data type. For a structure object, memory will be allocated for each data type. When it comes to union, memory will be allocated only for the largest data type. What is the difference between malloc and calloc? So both are used to dynamically allocate memory, but malloc allocates the memory and it does not initialize the allocated block of memory to 0, but calloc, it initializes the allocated block of memory to 0. We will see the syntax of calloc and malloc. Calloc accepts two arguments. The first argument is how many blocks you want and what is the size of each block. That is the second argument. Here I want 10 blocks and each block should be of the size of integer. And the same thing I can achieve using malloc like this. So malloc accepts one argument, 10 into size of int. But calloc initializes the allocated block of memory to 0, but malloc does not initialize. What is the difference between dynamic memory allocation and static memory allocation? Static memory allocation means we allocate the memory. We do not allocate the memory, but we do the necessary arrangement at the compilation time. How much memory should be allocated during the execution time is decided at the compilation time. In the case of dynamic memory allocation, during compilation time, we don't decide anything, how much memory should be allocated. So static memory allocation, arrangements are made during compilation to facilitate memory allocation during execution time. So how much memory should be allocated during execution time is decided at compilation time. So since it is decided at compilation time, during execution time, if you want extra memory, it is not possible. The advantage of dynamic memory allocation is no arrangement is done at compilation time. So memory allocation is done at execution time. So how much you want, you can allocate. That is the difference between static memory allocation and dynamic memory allocation. Thank you.